Okay, so if you've spent any real time using AI tools,
Yeah.
things like ChatGPT, Gemini, maybe even Grok, you've probably hit this wall.
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
You spend time crafting what feels like this perfect prompt, you hit enter, and the result you get back is just cool, well, kind of generic.
Or inconsistent, maybe. Sometimes it just feels a bit off.
Exactly. It's like you asked for something specific and you got output from, I don't know, a slightly off-brand intern.
Yeah.
They mean well, but they just don't quite nail your vision.
Right. It misses that nuance.
And that right there is the core problem we're digging into today. AI, usually by default, it just doesn't know who it's supposed to be for you, or even how it should be thinking about the problem.
It's this incredibly powerful engine, a blank slate, which is amazing in one way,
Yeah?
but without giving it that clear, consistent context, you're really leaving a lot of its potential just sitting there, untapped.
We often think about interacting with AI as just giving it commands, right? Like a vending machine. You put a prompt in, you get a thing out. But what if we change that? What if it was less about the single command and more about, I don't know, building a kind of relationship, giving the AI a real identity?
That shift in thinking is huge. It moves from just prompting to cultivating something more persistent. And that's where this idea of giving AI an identity is, well, pretty transformative.
And that leads us right into Conversonax. Let me say that again. It's kuhn-VUR-suh-naks.
Got it. Conversonax.
It sounds a bit techy, but it's actually a really elegant framework. It was created by Dave Gambrill. You might know him from Unleash Your AI Edge or Digital Marketing Mentorship.
Ah, Dave Gambrill. Okay.
And Conversonax is specifically designed to give AI that missing piece. A defined role, a personality, a specific way of thinking and talking that you can turn on instantly.
So it's like setting up a predefined mode for the AI.
Exactly. So our mission today is to do a deep dive into this. We want to unpack what Conversonax actually is, why it's such a game changer, if you want really awesome specific results from these language models.
Not just generic stuff.
Right, and how it helps you build like actual AI partners, not just get better at asking one-off questions.
And that's so relevant now, isn't it? I mean, AI is weaving its way into almost everything we do professionally.
Totally. Content, planning.
Strategy, coaching, brainstorming. It's everywhere. So understanding how to give it the right context, that specific instruction, isn't just a nice to have anymore.
No way.
It feels pretty crucial if you want to get past those surface level answers and really tap into what these tools can do.
Okay, so let's unpack it then. We've hinted at it, but what is Conversonax fundamentally?
Well, Dave Gambrill defines it pretty clearly. He calls it a structured AI persona.
A persona, okay.
Yeah, basically, it's a reusable profile, something you create beforehand to tell the AI exactly who it should be, how it should think, and even how it should talk during your entire conversation.
So it's not just for one prompt, it sticks around.
Exactly. It moves beyond just that single instruction to defining a kind of continuous state for the AI.
That makes sense. And the name itself, Conversonax, it sort of breaks down nicely, doesn't
It
it?
really does.
You've got conversation,
Right.
because AI is, at its heart, a dialogue engine, right? It learns and works through back and forth.
And Conversonax leans into that, building context over the whole chat.
Then persona, because you're literally giving it a specific character, a voice, a role to play.
We're telling it who to be.
Right. And then the X, what's the X about?
Well, Dave explains the X as the variable, meaning it can become anyone or anything you need. Plus, it gives it that little nod towards, advanced tech. X marks the spot for potential.
Huh, I like that. So it's about shaping that raw AI power into something really distinct and usable.
Precisely. And if you think about the bigger picture here, this whole concept really pushes us beyond just basic prompting techniques.
Oh, so?
It's moving towards a much more sophisticated way of interacting with AI. You're essentially creating a repeatable mindset for the model.
A mindset. Interesting.
Yeah, and that's so critical if you want consistency. If you want output that's not just okay, but strategically aligned with what you're trying to achieve every single time.
It sounds like it directly tackles that frustration we mentioned earlier, the off-brand intern problem.
Absolutely. It addresses Dave's own frustration, which he talks about having to constantly retrain the AI.
His own.
Remind it, okay, remember, you're my launch strategist today. Or, no, now you need to sound like my copy coach.
Right, that constant re-explaining must get tiring.
Totally. He mentions his obsession with systems as the driving force behind creating Conversonax. He needed a way to just instantly load a specific predefined personality into the AI.
So the AI isn't just reacting anymore. It's operating from a deeper understanding of its role.
Exactly. It's about efficiency, sure, but maybe even more about the quality and the relevance of the output.
That makes a ton of sense. So if we're building these digital teammates, as you call them, what actually goes into a Conversonax profile? What are the components?
Okay, yeah, let's get into the anatomy.
Lay it out for us.
It usually starts with a profile ID. That's just the name you give it, something memorable like launch strategist GPT or maybe subconscious coach.
Simple enough.
Then you define its archetype. This is its main role. Is it primarily a coach, a mentor, an editor, a strategist? That sets the overall tone.
Okay, role defined. What's next?
Next is the domain subdomain. This is crucial. It specifies the AI's areas of expertise. What knowledge base should it primarily draw from? Is it marketing, personal development, technical writing?
So you're telling it what it knows about.
Precisely. And defining these up front really sets the stage. The AI immediately gets a sense of the world it's supposed to operate in and the basic stance it should take.
It stops being a jack-of-all-trades AI and starts becoming a specialist.
You got it. It becomes a tailored expert for your specific need right then.
Okay, that's already pretty powerful, but you said it gets even more detailed.
Oh, yeah. This is where it gets really interesting, I think. You define its psychological profile.
Psychological profile for an AI.
Yeah. It sounds a bit sci-fi, but it's practical. It's about defining its mindset, its core traits, maybe even its decision-making style.
Wow. Can you give an example?
Sure. Think about defining its approach. Is it, say, a pragmatic problem solver? Or more of a creative, out-of-the-box thinker? Maybe it's a critical analyst who pokes holes in ideas?
So you could have one AI profile that's optimistic and encouraging and another that's more skeptical and challenging.
Exactly. Imagine telling it to be a skeptical optimist versus a cautious realist. Just that subtle difference in its defined mindset can totally change the kind of feedback or strategy it gives you.
That goes way beyond just asking it to write like a marketing expert.
Way beyond. It gets the AI to engage with the problem from a specific cognitive angle. That's where you start getting really nuanced, helpful collaboration, not just generic advice. It's about building a digital mind that complements yours, you know?
Oh, that's fascinating. Okay, psychological profile. What else?
Hand in hand with that is its communication style. This is super important for getting the voice right.
So how it talks.
Right. Is it formal or informal? Does it speak directly or use more nuance? Should it use bullet points, short sentences, long paragraphs?
You can specify all that.
Yep. And you can even define its persuasive style. Should it rely on logic, emotion, authority, data?
This is incredibly granular.
It is. And then finally, you have the practical bits. There's an activation prompt.
Like a code word.
Sort of. A simple phrase you use to tell the AI, okay, activate this profile now, like use subconscious coach mode.
Gotcha.
And optionally, you can include a deactivation clause if you need a way to tell it to stop or reset.
Wow. Okay, so putting all those pieces together, the ID, archetype, domain, psych profile, communication style, activation, that's what creates the consistent specific persona.
That's the idea. That whole structured approach is designed to make sure the AI's responses are consistently relevant, nuanced, and tailored specifically to the role you've designed and your needs.
It really sounds like you're building a proper digital teammate.
That's a great way to put it. And it's one that, doesn't get tired.
Doesn't forget your brand voice guidelines from last week.
Exactly. Doesn't ghost you when you have a deadline. That level of detail in the profile means the AI isn't just like processing words, it's understanding its function within your workflow.
And hopefully delivering results that feel genuinely helpful and purposeful.
That's the goal.
Okay, this sounds amazing in theory, but how does it actually look in practice? Can we talk through some real-world examples?
Yeah, absolutely. Dave Gambrill shares a few great examples from his own work, and they really show the flexibility here.
Let's hear them.
Okay, so one he uses often is his launch strategist GPT.
Okay, launch strategist.
When he activates that profile, the AI knows its job. It helps him map out things like offer stacks, detailed launch timelines, writing email sequences, planning upsells.
So real marketing strategy stuff.
Exactly. And crucially, it doesn't just give generic advice. It communicates like a confident marketing pro, using frameworks, specific terminology. It has that voice.
So it embodies the role through its language too.
It moves way beyond just ask a question, get an answer. It feels more like collaborating with a specialist. The AI isn't just a search engine at that point. It's acting as a strategic partner who gets the nuances of funnels and launches.
That's powerful. What's another one?
A very different example is his subconscious rewiring coach.
Okay, totally different domain.
Right. This persona is built specifically to help people work through limiting beliefs, maybe reprogram old patterns or habits.
How does that work?
When it's active, it thinks in terms of concepts like neuroplasticity. Its communication style is set to be gentle, supportive. It asks these really insightful reflection questions.
So it mimics a real coaching interaction.
It really tries to embody that role of a sensitive, knowledgeable coach, guiding the user toward personal insights.
Wow. The range is incredible. Any others?
Yeah, one more that shows just how specific you can get is the Channel Your Inner Maxwell profile.
Based on John Maxwell, the leadership guy.
The very same.
Yeah.
So when this profile is activated, the AI provides leadership advice grounded in Maxwell's principles.
And the voice.
It's designed to be warm, values-driven, encouraging, and just like you'd expect John Maxwell himself to sound.
That's amazing. So you can essentially model AI personas on specific thinkers or styles.
Apparently so. And the key is each of these, the strategist, the coach, the Maxwell expert, they're all distinct Conversonax profiles. And Dave can just switch between them instantly, depending on what kind of digital help he needs in that moment.
It's like having a speed dial for different AI experts.
Pretty much. And what's really striking about these examples is just how broad the applications are, right?
It's clearly not just for writing blog posts or marketing copy.
Not at all. It stretches into deep personal growth, complex strategic thinking, even simulating having an advisor or mentor based on a specific philosophy. It really feels like it's about amplifying your own thinking.
Giving you instant access to specialized AI minds.
Yeah, tailored minds, ready whenever you need them.
Which brings us to why this Conversonax thing really matters, especially for, the people listening. If you're out there as a speaker, a coach, consultant, trainer, maybe a content creator, or running your own digital business.
Yeah, the solo entrepreneurs, the small teams.
You know the deal. You're juggling like a dozen different roles every single day. You're the CEO, the marketer, the copywriter, the strategist, the tech support.
You wear all the hats?
All the hats. And Conversonax seems like it directly tackles that reality. It lets you simulate the specific support you need right when you need it.
Without having to hire a huge team right away.
Exactly. Think about it. You need a second pair of eyes on your sales page to make sure it really sounds like you and connects with your audience.
Spin up your brand voice editor profile.
Perfect. Or you feel stuck in the weeds and need to zoom out, look at your whole business strategy from a higher level, maybe find some new angles.
Call in your business architect GPT.
Right. Or maybe, it just feels lonely sometimes building this thing by yourself. You wish you had a board of advisors to bounce ideas off of.
Load up your custom board of advisors profile. Boom. Instant virtual team for brainstorming.
It's like building your own support system on demand.
And that touches on a really important question, I think. We're swimming in information. AI is this incredibly powerful tool. But how do we make sure it's more than just a fancy calculator?
Yeah. How do we make it a real collaborator?
Conversonax seems to provide a framework for exactly that. It aligns with that idea of using AI to amplify your thinking, not just replace it.
It helps you extend your own abilities.
Right. Leveraging these models to push past your own limits, whether that's time, specific expertise, or just needing a different perspective.
That makes total sense. I do wonder, though, with all this specificity, defining the mindset, the communication style, is there risk of, over-constraining the AI? Could you accidentally shut down some of its creativity?
That's a really fair question. It's definitely a balance to strike. But the way Conversonax seems designed, you're setting the framework for its thinking, the guardrails, the identity. You're not necessarily dictating every single word it says.
Okay.
Often giving it that clear role and context can actually unleash more focused creativity. It knows how to be creative as a strategist, for instance, instead of just being generally creative in a vacuum.
So it's not putting it in a box so much as giving it a specific, powerful lens to look through.
That's a great way to think about it. It's about channeling its immense power effectively within a defined context.
Gotcha.
And, Dave Gambrill isn't just theorizing about this. He's apparently using these profiles himself every day.
For his own work.
Yeah, for writing, planning, coaching clients, brainstorming content. And he's teaching it to his community, building out tools and templates based on this methodology.
So he's really invested in this.
Seems like it. I mean, the fact that he's even filed for trademark protection for the name Conversonax suggests this isn't just some quick hack. It feels like a long-term vision for how we can work with AI more effectively.
A foundational approach to AI interaction, maybe.
Yeah, helping people really unleash their awesome, as he puts it, by using AI in this much more integrated, personalized way.
Okay, so let's bring it all together. The core benefit here, the big takeaway, is that Conversonax helps you transform that often generic AI output into something specialized, consistent, and, well, genuinely effective.
It gives the AI the identity and context it needs to perform at a much higher level for you.
Moving way past that slightly off-brand intern problem we started with.
Hopefully.
And if you're listening and thinking, okay, I want to try this, Dave Gambrill does share the framework and some examples over on his website, which is gambrill.com.
Good resource to check out.
Definitely worth a look if you want to dive deeper and maybe start building your own profiles in ChatGPT or, whatever tool you're using.
Custom GPTs are perfect for this kind of thing, too.
For sure. So, the big question for you, listening right now, what does all this mean for you? Just imagine for a second being able to instantly call up the perfect digital teammate for whatever challenge you're facing.
A copywriter who nails your voice every time.
A strategist who understands your business goals.
Even a coach tailored to your specific growth areas.
All operating consistently, exactly how you need them to. What kind of specialized digital teammate would you build first?
It's a powerful thought because the real potential here, I think, isn't just about saving time or being more efficient, though that's part of it.
Right.
It's the ability to genuinely scale your own insights, your capabilities in ways that weren't possible before. By giving AI this identity, this role, this mindset, we're not just automating tasks.
We're doing something more.
We're essentially cloning expertise, cloning perspective. We're creating this truly dynamic partnership between human intelligence and artificial intelligence to achieve, well, pretty much whatever you set your mind to.